Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Craig. It is Friday morning. Haha, yes, we made it to Friday. So, today we're going to talk a little bit about one of our good friends, Kathy Gifford. That's right. Well, since the number of incidents that have been occurring lately, we've had Kathy Gifford and her new foundation have decided that they've come up with a list of new items that they wish to ban. So once they're successful, or at least they believe they'll be successful in banning bump stocks, they plan on going after a whole host of other items which they do not wish you to have. Now, included amongst those items are binary triggers. Those are the ones where, you pull a round goes, you release it, a round goes. So, it's still not automatic, but, once again, it increases the rate of fire, so they want to ban it. Trigger cranks. They want to ban 50 caliber rifles, high capacity shotguns. Okay. They want to get rid of AK and AR style pistols and pistol arm braces, pistol blade stabilizers, incendiary tracer rounds, or basically what they call armor piercing rounds, which is kind of interesting because when you consider the fact that they're trying to get away from lead ammunition. At the same time, they're trying to get us away from lead ammunition, and you go to other metals. Those other metals are harder and thus deemed armor piercing, which then leads one to question, are you just trying to ban ammunition altogether? But that's a whole different discussion. Now, the one that really kind of caught our attention is their attempt to ban muzzleloaders. Now, in case you don't know what a muzzleloader is, and I'll read here from the definition. Muzzleloaders is basically a firearm that must be loaded through the end of the barrel with powder, wadding, and a projectile. Yes, a projectile. So when you think of it, you're thinking of muskets. Yes, they actually said listed amongst the items that they wish to ban are muskets. And, and here's kind of their reasoning. They talk about background check laws and they talk about all of that and laws restricting access to these firearms. And so, but this is their statement. They're saying there's one blanket exemption to these laws, however, the exemption for antique firearms, including muzzleloaders. The gun industry is determined to exploit this exemption. Muzzleloaders are a firearm that must be loaded through the end of the barrel with powder, wadding, and a projectile. Muzzleloaders fell out of favor as a firearm choice almost a century ago and are generally seen as primitive antiques. That's why federal law generally exempts them from regulation. So muzzleloaders generally are not necessarily considered something that is favored. But one of the things that's happened is there's been a kind of an uptick of people's interest in muzzleloaders, in particular for hunting, because it increases kind of the competitiveness. Some people are just into that. They want to be able to hunt. And they want it to be more. They want it to be harder. They want it to be more. They want it to be tougher. Kind of like people who hunt utilizing archery. But the interesting thing about it is that if you notice the picture of, now this is a picture right here, if you look at it, of the muzzleloader that it is that they're trying to ban. Now this is made by a company called Silence Co., and it's called the Maxim 50. And that's because it's a 50 caliber muzzleloader. And their issue is, now first of all, they don't want people having 50 caliber rifles at all, but their biggest issue is the fact that it comes with the silencer already attached. Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It's not a silencer. They call it a silencer. It's actually a suppressor. Right, meaning it makes it not as loud. Now, anyone who's ever shot a 50 cal knows that they are significantly loud firearms. And all this basically does is reduce the amount of sound that comes out of it. It does not make it silent. Here's an example.
All right, we'll see if we can poke one in at 200 yards here with the Maxim 50. Just under it.
So, maybe it's just me, but that didn't sound silent at all. But once again, that's their problem. I mean, that is their biggest issue, is that they're saying, well, they don't want people to be able to have access to quote unquote silencers, especially they don't want a 50 caliber rifle with a silencer. Now, what this all comes down to is this, and let's just be real. What they're banning here, everything that's included in this list of banned items, and if you just follow the link on the video, you'll get a chance to kind of read a little bit more about all of the items that they wish to ban and why they say they want to ban it. But what's really going on here is this. All of these items, including bump stocks, are pretty much novelty items. They're the sort of items that, you know, most people, even people who are active in shooting sports, don't have. And many aren't even interested in. But see, they see these things and they're like, all of a sudden their Hollywood friends and their Hollywood mentality starts kicking in, and oh man, these are things that people are going to use to go and commit crimes. And the fact is that, I mean, let's just be honest. How many crimes have been committed utilizing a 50 caliber rifle? How many? I can tell you probably a handful. When I did research a couple of years ago, I wasn't able to find any. I'm talking in the entire history of 50 caliber rifles. I wasn't able to find any, save maybe possessing one when you weren't supposed to. All right. Other than that, I don't know of many crimes that were committed, in part because they're incredibly expensive. They range somewhere between $10,000 to $15,000 a piece, and the rounds are also highly expensive. I'm figuring that if you're going to commit a crime like robbing a grocery store, you already don't have enough money to be able to buy a 50 caliber rifle. I'm just saying, just a thought. But in many of these cases, whether it's, you know, the AR or the AK pistol or the pistol brace or the muzzle loader, these are largely novelty items. And largely novelty items that are not utilized by criminals, that criminals aren't looking for, but largely that the average gun enthusiast who's looking for something a little different is interested in. And so who do you think is going to get caught up once again in all of these crimes? We just saw just this week what happens when you don't enforce the laws that you already put in place, that already aren't stopping crime. And now you want to go after more laws to go after more law-abiding citizens because it'll make you feel better. You're going to ban novelty items just so that you can feel better. Yeah, I'm with you guys. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but then again, most of these folks never do. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's Coffee with Craig. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a fun and safe weekend, and remember, stay free.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.